Alright, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Trell with my hetero life partner Paul here again for another video. A lot of comments that we've been getting in the videos that we've done in the past or more recent or whatever is players talking about having to cope with the elitist of the game. And so today we're just going to talk about that. We both, I'm not going to say chosen side, but we both have different perspectives of how we see that topic. So we're both going to speak it from our own side. And I will personally be speaking from the elitist side, whereas Paul will be speaking from the casual player side.
Yeah,
and
I'm representing you guys today.
He's representing you guys, and I guess technically that makes me the bad guy, and I'm completely okay with that. But I just think we should. I just think we should put everything into perspective and just kind of put it all out there on the table as to like what problems everybody has with each other as far as casual or elitist.
Let's clear the air. Let's go.
All right. And I'm speaking for the elitists, and so first thing first, if I say something you don't like, I mean, I'm not apologizing for it just because if you feel
same
good,
here as well.
I mean, because we're not here to pander to anybody's feelings. We're just here to speak our honest perspective. But anyway, me speaking from the elitist side. When I say that, I'm not speaking as an elitist, even though I can be. But I think I do identify more with the elitist as opposed to the casual player. I mean,
Trell sexually identifies as a Yu-Gi-Oh elitist.
Yes, I'm a sexual.
No.
Why my orientation have to be brought up into this? Oh shit.
So you're an elitist. What types of things do you get sick of hearing?
I get sick of hearing that my decks are autopilots, or that I'm only trying to play the best deck to win, or that I have no skill in the game, or we're all sheep to the meta. And like I said, with that being said, that doesn't mean that anything that they've said that's been said is untrue. It just means that it's not to to that depth, and it also means that maybe there's something different, and maybe there's something that you're not seeing.
But I don't understand, because if you're just playing the same deck that everyone takes to a YCS, like, okay, think about it. If you look at the top decks of an event,
okay,
right? Like, and 8 of them are Burning Abyss, and like 8 of them are Cosmos, and 8 of them are Monarchs, and that's what you're running. Then wouldn't you say that you're just like being a sheep? Like, you're just playing the same thing everyone else is playing, basically, right? I mean, the cards are like 2 cards different.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the problem that I have with that. And the problem I have with that is the fact that everybody gets something different out of the game. I'm a person who likes to win games. I don't really play games. I mean, you want to have fun, but I'm one of those people who's not really having fun if he's losing. That doesn't make me an elitist for wanting to win. That just means that I'm playing a game where I know that the goal of playing a game is to win. So if I know that this recipe is tried and true for success, why would I not try to emulate that? Doesn't mean that I have to copy a card for card, but why would I not try to emulate that? And you're right, maybe I should try something creative and do something different. But the thing is, maybe I have tried something different. Maybe I have tried to be creative and try other obscure decks, and they didn't work out for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand. So I would think, though, that as a casual player, it's more annoying that, you get ostracized for trying to be creative if you're casual. So like, it's annoying when I want to put 2 archetypes together, and I take it to locals, or I tell my friend like, hey, I'm putting together Monarchs and Ultra Athletes, and I think it'd be a really cool thing. And then people tell you it's just bad because it's not standard and because it doesn't win, so therefore it must be trash and I just shouldn't even bother trying.
But with that being said, though, sometimes ideas are really just that fucking bad, and it's untrue. I mean, because my thing is with this is, first off, I usually don't give my opinion unless I'm asked, and even then I don't like to give my opinion because everybody gets butthurt. Because the issue with the casual player as compared to an elitist that I've seen in my experience is that a casual player can't take that constructive criticism. A casual player cannot take the fact that you're telling them that their deck is good because they're casual and they're creative. So they made their own deck and they like their deck. But then if you tell them that it's bad, they can't take that. They take that to heart and they take it personally. And so now you're the bad guy because you gave your honest opinion on something.
Fair enough. But I mean, I guess if you think about it in that way, then casuals have to deal with something pretty similar, where if you ever try to tell a competitive meta player that what they're doing is sucking the fun out of the game, which in a way it kind of is. I mean, like, if you're running the same deck as everybody else, then people get mad at you for that. It's like the same thing, just the opposite end of the spectrum, you know what I mean? I
could get that, and my thing with that as well is this: if I'm playing a tier 1 deck, do not come sitting in front of me playing Crystal Beach and expect this to be a fun game because you chose to play me. Like, as an elitist, I don't challenge anybody I don't think is.
Well, but locals are meant to be for fun.
Locals are meant to be for fun,
so
but some people only build meta decks
with like a complete max rarityed out Cosmo or like Monarch deck or something like that, and like you're side decking for every Cyber Dragon player you face. I feel like that's that could be considered sucking the fun out of the game.
But that's my prerogative. Like I'm playing the game because I'm wanting to excel in the game. Like as a casual, like you said, you go to locals, you play. There are people who are casuals who have never been to a regionals or who have been to regionals and scrubbed out, and at the end of the day they said, well, at least I had fun. And that's great. But my thing is, I am playing this game, I want to get better at this game, and I can't get better at this game just by trying to let you have fun, because that doesn't help me get any closer to my goal.
Well, all right. So from my perspective then, we'll flip the script a bit. Prices. I feel like this is a game where you should be able to play whatever you want within your price range, and the idea of spending a whole lot of money on cards and decks, like why would I spend $500 on a deck that's just the same thing that everybody else is playing? And I hate it when people tell me that I'm a scrub because I don't spend money on the cards like that. I don't think that's fair. Making budget decks is fun.
I don't disagree with that. We've seen success with budget decks. It's just that usually whenever someone's being told that they're a scrub for not paying the price for cards, it's because they've complained about something that's happening. Because a lot of times, let's be honest, elitists don't really complain. Now they do insult. I will say an elitist will insult a person, but elitists don't complain. Casual players are the ones that complain and say, "Oh my God, this person he only won because he's playing this type of deck, or this. If I had this card, I could win against this." Because I don't care what anybody says. Even if you're a casual player and you're just playing for fun, you still want to win to some extent. This is how I feel personally. So my thing is, you're right. Card prices should not be as expensive as they are, but you're complaining about not winning. You know that if you had this card, you'd be doing better, but you don't want to put the money on it, so you can't really complain about something that you're not willing to change.
All right, well, explain to me this.
Okay.
Why is it that if I play with a deck like, let's say, Gym Knights, I can OTK someone with it, and if I beat a Cosmo player, they just call my deck a gimmick? But why is that? If it won, if I beat a Cosmo player or Burning Abyss player, any meta player, if I beat them with Gym Knights or whatever fun, cool OTK deck I thought of that's not meta, I'm suddenly, considered it's a gimmick. I only won because I'm just playing a gimmicky deck that took them. You know what I mean? I hear that all the time.
Understandable.
Why? That's not fair. If I'm a casual player and I thought of something that's fun and works, first I get ostracized for thinking that it's even a possibility that this could. Oh, don't play Gym Knights. They can't do anything in this meta. Or don't play Ultra Athletes. They can't win. You're wasting your time. And then if I finally do win, it's suddenly like, oh, well, you were just playing a gimmick. It won't happen again, type of thing. Like, it's like you can't win.
Like I just said, casual players complain, elitists insult. So of course, we just lost to a tier fucking 39 deck. Of course you're gonna get insulted. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not justifying it, but it's gonna happen. And you're right. Decks like those are gimmick decks. Those are decks that we know we'll never see in a top tournament in the top tables, and we're only trying to prepare for the top tables because we're only trying to play the best of the best. Once again, you're a casual player. You make your decks with these huge retarded 2-card combos in a 40-card deck, whereas I make my deck to be as consistent as possible and to be prepared for the meta. So just like you guys get stumped by our top tier decks because you guys don't have the power to stand up to it, sometimes we get shitted on by your obscure decks because we know we'll never see this card again, but that card was a perfect card in your situation to fuck my life up.
Wouldn't that mean it's a better idea for me to play it then? Because if it can take meta players off guard, you know what I mean? Like if I can play, what's another good example of one? If I can play, Great Kaiju, right? Or Psy-Frames, or something like that. And I've gotten the cards together and I play it. If it can beat like a deck like Cosmos or Monarchs, and I'm actually winning because they're not prepared for it, wouldn't that make it a good idea to play it?
I think
even in an event, right?
Locally, yeah. But the thing is, once again, the thing with that as well, casual players don't look at the big picture as opposed to an elitist. And the reason why I say that is because anybody can be great at locals. Everybody has that one person at locals that sits on everybody at their locals, but they might not do so great at a bigger tournament. Yeah. And with that being said, like decks like those are good for the first few rounds, but the thing to think about is that even if I lost to you, and it's not to say it in a butthurt way, but even if I lost to you, that doesn't mean that you're better than me. It doesn't mean that your deck is better than me, and that goes for you guys as well. Just because you guys lose to us doesn't mean that we're better than you. It's just that obviously somebody had more preparation than the other person, and I don't think that in a bigger man tournament that deck would ever last. So once again, I'm not going to worry myself with such a deck that I know I never see on a long-term basis, because I'm only here for the long-term game, not for the short-term casual have fun on a Thursday night. I'm here because I'm trying to go to the top and win this YCF or this Nationals, move on the Worlds, and I know that this deck is tried and true and it works against the meta, and I know once I start getting better, I'm only going to see meta. Your deck is of no concern to me.
Yeah, but playing the game for fun is fine too. Like, you shouldn't have to always want to win in an event. Because if you're winning at locals, that's enough of a moral victory for me, honestly.
If you're
playing it.
If you ain't first, you last.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can be first at locals, that's good enough, right?
No.
I would say so.
I mean, like I say, once again, it all depends on what you're trying to get out of the game. If you only care about being the locals king and you're winning, then you're fine. But if you want to go further, then you have to put yourself in the attitude and mindset of wanting to go further.
All right, next complaint then.
Next
thing.
Okay.
So, why is it then that I'm forced to play new things? And I feel like if I have a hero deck, right? You know, Masked Heroes, Dark Law Turbo, that's what people call it apparently. Why should I be forced to have to use Synchros when they come out, or Xyz when they come out, or Pendulums when they come out? And everyone gets angry when you don't, you know, immediately use Pendulums. And if I complain about Pendulums suddenly like I'm being a scrub because I don't like them, why should I be forced to play them?
And it's not about being forced, but it's all about progression. People hate change. And what I've also come to find out about casual players as well is that they cannot adapt to change well. They're like, hey, this one new card comes out of this set. I'm going to slide it in my Blue Eyes deck that I haven't updated since 2003. That should make it tons much better. But the thing is, if you're trying to get better, if you're trying to make the deck better and you're trying to get better, then you want to progress with the game. You want to accept the changes. You want to adapt to the changes. And I personally one of those people where I would see a not so great player playing a game and I'm like, man, if he had such and such card, he would be kicking ass. But he doesn't have that card. So it's not like we're mad at you guys personally. It's just that we know that you guys have the ability and the opportunity to be better, but you're choosing to hold yourself back because you can't adapt to the change.
That's one way to look at it. But I mean, we shouldn't be forced to play new cards.
And it's not being forced.
I think that it's totally, like, if I want to stick with whatever's working, I think that should be fine. I don't like that, you know, I get ostracized because I want to stick with heroes or I want to stick with, say, despots even. That's fairly new, but then people still say, oh, you shouldn't play that because, like, it's old or it's something like this, and I just don't really understand that excuse.
And see,
if something works for me, why should I change?
Well, it obviously isn't working for you. I mean, just being there because unless you're locals king, like I said, it obviously isn't working for you. But the thing with that also that comes with what people are missing in the fact of casual versus elitist is a lot of times a casual, because once again I said casuals complain, elitists insult. Casuals complain about not winning. They complain about something being wrong with their deck. So they go to an elitist for help. Or they put out an open question of what could I do to make this better? And then once they get the feedback, they feel like they're being ostracized. They feel like they're being forced. They feel like, I mean, you opened that can of worms for me to give you my advice, and so now that I give you my advice, I'm the bad guy because I'm not saying anything that you want to hear. I've had over the years, I've helped so many people build decks, and as soon as we finish building the deck to its utmost optimal ability, the first thing they do is, well, I thought this card was good. I'm just gonna stick this back here because I want to play this, and now you're losing again, but. It's because, and you blame me because your deck sucks, but you didn't take my advice. So why ask for my advice if you're not going to listen to it anyway? Because that's what I do. A lot of casuals lose a shit ton, and then they ask for advice, and then once they get advice, they don't follow the advice, or they don't like it, and they feel like they're being ostracized. And that's what I think. It's just a misperception of everything, and you can't blame the elitists because you feel some kind of way about advice. That's really all it is. It's an insult sometimes, but a lot of times it's just advice that you guys take the wrong way.
So at the end of the day then, let's ask the audience. What do you guys think? Would you say at the end of the day it's the hardcore meta elitists who are, you know, the ones to blame, the people who call everyone scrubs because they don't play the top deck or, you know, spend lots of money on their decks and call anything else a gimmick? Or is it maybe actually the casual elitists, because they do exist, believe it or not, who think that being a meta player is bad because you're being a sheep? And, you know, you're not being creative and you're just playing something that's autopilot because it wins. Hopefully this video gave you two different perspectives. Honestly, it's really hard for me to be the casual elitist because at the end of the day, I kind of agree more with you.
I mean, it's not, and with that being said, because everybody has problems on both sides. Like I said, I'm a cocky person first. Sorry, everybody who knows me knows I'm cocky. But I'm not a cocky, disrespectful Yu-Gi-Oh player. I'm thankful for not having that attitude, but I'm very cocky in life. That's just who I am. But with that being said, the elitists have to deal with the attitude of the casual players too, because elitists are accused of being cocky and you know, and being elitist, being arrogant. Whereas on the other side, you have the casual players who look down on us because we have the attitude. I mean, it doesn't mean that we think we're better, and doesn't mean that you guys think you're better. But in both groups, in casual and elitist groups, there's always somebody who thinks that they're better than the other. And I know casuals who think that they're better than elitists just because they're casuals and they feel like they're the spirit of the game.
So,
you know,
each side kind of feels a little bit self-empowered.
Exactly, and
where you get other people who agree with you, so therefore it's. you're more right that way.
Right, and there should be no right and there should be no wrong. Everybody should be. You're right. Everybody should be able to do what they want to do in the game. It's just that people are always finding ways to complain or compare one situation to another, and like I said, it just becomes a miscommunication. And now we have issues where, oh my God, he thinks he's better than everybody. Oh my God, he sucks. And now the community is falling apart over stupidity.
So that's the video for today. We hope that this was kind of enlightening. The idea here was to show that, it's not just, competitive players who are the assholes, quote unquote.
Right.
It can come from both sides, and I'm not saying a side's right or wrong.
Right.
I mean, I just have one that maybe I agree more with.
My side's right.
Which I actually agree with that side too. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to give, Anyway, so that's the video. We hope you guys liked it. What do you think? In the comments, let us know. Would you say that casual elitists are just as bad, or one's worse than the other? Where would you identify in this spectrum of bullshit?
And if you're a butthurt casual, please don't comment. I just don't even want to read your comments. I mean, if you're casual, that's fine. But if you're a butthurt casual, don't comment. And that goes for the elitists. If you're an arrogant, insulting elitist, we don't want to see your comment. I don't want to see your comments either. Just being honest.
So, with that said, you can give this video a like to show some support, and you can also subscribe, share it with your elitist friends, and of either side.
And the casuals.
And that's going to be it. So we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Team APS out. Peace.